Hi everyone. All right, so in this video, we're gonna be looking at branching of these skeleton lines a little bit more. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a bit more details. Right now, before I get started, just want to make sure that you know the anatomy of the brows. Right. So first, so we have these um, four lines right here in the front. So this is good. These lines are the head or the head strokes of the head of the brows, right? And then we have these last two lines back here. So this will be the tail of the brow, right? And then these ones, these three lines here, right? These are the upper strokes. So the upper, right? Sometimes you might have three, sometimes you might have four. So depending on the thickness or the width of the brow as well, right? And then you have these ones. So these ones are the body of the brow, okay? And then we have this one very special line right here, just one line. We're gonna call it a transition. Okay, so these will be the transition line. Okay, all right, so the first thing I'm going to show you how to branch would be the tail of the brow. So just look up here. Okay, so now when I branch the tail of the brows, right, I am going to divide the hair or the length, right, of the brow into like thirds. So one third, right? So now when you have that one third, right, you are going to start branching it from the third up, just like that. And you're going to aim it towards the end of the line in front of it, just like that. That's where you want to go. Okay, so same thing. The other one, the other tail, right? So just divide it in one third there, right? So you're gonna start branching. Sketch, 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 sketch. Yeah, and then you're gonna direct it towards um, the end of the line in front of it. Okay, I hope that makes sense, right? So, so I'm gonna remove these ones. Okay. All right. So again, I'm gonna do it from one third. Oh, sorry. Approximately a third of the line, right? Start branching, and I'm gonna direct it towards the end of the line in front of it. So about one third. So the line should have like a slight curve to it somewhere there. Okay. So remember, so we start from um, the one third from the line, right? So about one third, and then where the line ends is going to be right about the end of the line in front of it. Okay, all right. So now with the head strokes, so next we're going to look at the head strokes. The reason why I do this with the tail end and the head, because they branch it pretty much the same way. So again, we're going to divide this into thirds. I'm not going to branch the very first line, just keep it nice and simple, right? It will look more natural that way. So again, so from that third, from the top third, I'm going to start branching it down until all the way at the bottom, right? If you notice that this line stays pretty close, right? Stay pretty close to its um, main line, right? So it's not branched out very far. So this is bad. If you branch out like this, oops, sorry, let me change. Yep, okay. So if you branch it out far like that, it doesn't look good. Okay. All right. So divide. So from the top third, branch it down all the way to the bottom. Sketch, sketch, sketch. So it goes from light to dark to light, thicker to thinner. So it should have like a slight curve to it. Okay. All right. So now we have the tail um, and the head branching so far. Next, we're going to look at the body of the brow. Okay, so the body of the brow, we have these lines. So we have this one, this red one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? The other one that's left behind there, there in between the body and the heads strokes would be the transition. Okay, all right. So now when you branch for the body of the brow, you want to branch it from the top right here, right? Branch from the top of the line. So you're gonna go from the very top of it. Oh, that's an eraser. Just 1 second, sorry. All right. Start from branching from the top right there. And then you're going to land it about a third or a half of the line in front of it, right? So the line in front, if I divide it into a third, so somewhere like that, about a third or a half, somewhere around there, right? Okay. Okay, so back to branching. So again, this one, we're gonna come from the top. See how I'm coming from the top, and then land about a third or half. Come from the top, land about a third or half. Come from the top, land about a third or half. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna look at the transition line now. So the transition line, when you branch, it's gonna be something in between the two, right? In between like the body and the head. So if you notice that it is sloping like this right now, slope, and then it goes down like that, right? So, and this is why the branching of the transition should kind of like create that flow. So that's why when we do the transition, we want to divide it into a third like this. And then the line in front of it, we're going to do a third as well, right? Divide it into thirds. And now the transition, when you branch the transition line, it's going to look like this. It's coming from the third of the transition line, and then it's going to go towards the third of the line in front of it. Okay, so let me just do it without the markings of the third. Okay, so coming from a third of the transition line, and then it's going to land about a third of the line in front of it. Cool. All right. Now we're going to branch the upper strokes, right? So just to remind you that these two, this line right here that you see in red right now, right? And this right here, they are not connected. Okay, so there should be like a little space, a little gap, right? A millimeter or two, a millimeter, something like that, right? So now when you branch that last line, you're going to come from under it. So you see where I'm starting? Then, right, it's going to go up. It's going to have like that soft little S there. Let me do it again. Got a little thick. There you go. Now, in some case, some brows that have like the smaller brows or something, you might not have room to branch, or you might have room to branch just one line, right? Um, so in this case, we have lots of space, so we can add like two branches there. But in some case, you might not have room to branch at all, or sometimes you have room to branch just one. Okay, now for the second upper strokes, again, coming from under it and go up, soft little S goes towards the front. So soft little S is like this. One more time. Right? So, meaning, so let's say if this is a perfect straight line, right? So, when it goes up, and then it's going to curve towards one side, and the other one curves toward the other side. Right? So it's going to have that soft S situation going on. Okay, you see that the tail here is going to curving to towards the left, right? And this one curves towards the right. Okay. All right. And then the last branch of the upper stroke here. I mean the branching the last upper stroke. Now when you branch this, you want to go up all the ways to the edge of the frame, right? So go all the way up to the edge of the frame. Okay, all right. So now we're gonna do more branching. Okay, so now for the tail, the two lines at the tail of the brow, it's pretty much done. Yeah. So in some case, you might be able to add, a little bit of line here, 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 something like that if you want to create like a little fluff, right? So again, like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, if you want to create like a soft fluff to it. But sometimes when a client has good brows already, you might not need to. Okay. All right. So we're gonna branch the body of the brow a little bit more, right? So this time I'm gonna come from the same little nook again, same little nook, but this time I'm gonna go towards the end of the line in front of it. So right here. So that's where I'm going. Okay. So have a look again. So now the second one, the blue is coming from that little nook, little corner. So I'm gonna go towards the line in front of it. Yeah. So I'm gonna remove those orange circles. So all right. So I'm doing this blue again. Okay, same thing here. Sketch, 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 sketch. Right. And then we're gonna branch the upper more. Like I said, guys, we might be able to add only one, okay? Or sometimes we don't have room to branch at all, or it's not necessary to branch. So just one to go, and then I'm gonna flick towards the front of the brow just a little bit this way, okay? So start from the main line, flick it towards the front of the brow that way. Okay, I'm gonna go back and add a little bit thickness of that pink line, just a bit more. Okay, all right, we are almost done. Now I am going to add just a few more. Okay, so now we're gonna branch the body a bit more. Yeah, so this time I'm gonna branch right here. Okay, so you see right here, starting from the blue line. So I'm like the green's over the blue line just a little bit, and then coming down. So the green is now landing in between this line and this line. Yeah, so I'm gonna branch another one from the blue, coming down. So it's gonna land in between the two main lines. So I'm gonna remove the green circles and show you again. Land in the middle, land right in the middle, and right in the middle. Okay, yeah, and now the front, we're gonna do a little fluffs. So they're typically gonna be one line here, one line here, one line here, one line here. Okay, so 4 lines total, right? So first line, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, oops, I made it a bit too long. So let me do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now the front of the brow, just do a little fluff if you want to. just to make it more natural looking. Okay, and at the tail of the brow, if you feel like adding something around here like this, a little fluff here to make it look a bit more fluffy, more natural, you can do as well, right? So depending on the style that you want to create. But yeah, this is about it, guys. Okay, this is how you branch. So um, practice and enjoy. Thank you. Bye bye.